our fellow friends that are watching us through YouTube and Facebook. Welcome, and welcome all of you that are here with me, incarnates and discarnated, in this very, very cold morning. But this is Canada, right? So let's get used of it. All right, sorry for the delay today, but we are here to talk about this theme, this topic that it's very near to my heart. How to overcome the challenges of being a Christian with Christ. And to start, we're gonna go to the page of 116 of the book The Way, the Truth, and the Life by Francisco Cândido Xavier by the Spirit of Emmanuel. And the text is named Acting Accordingly. They claim to know God, but they deny him with their deeds. They are abominable, disobedient, and unfit for doing any good works. Paul to Titus, chapter 1, verse 16. As revived Christianity, Spiritism has a much more important role than being a mere arena for new technical discoveries for the unstable science of the world. Up to now, the earth has had plenty of religious organizations that are replete with those who claim to believe in God, but then deny Him in the way they live their lives. The interchange between the visible and invisible worlds aims to readjust the sentiments so that divine light may shine in people's day-to-day relationships. How can we reconcile our knowing God with despising our neighbor? Because the old religious schools wanted to be like the world's political entities and grouped themselves under the control of an organized clergy, they ended up stifling the impulses of faith by emphasizing outward worship practices which demean the living power of the Spirit. Profoundly rooted in the gospel, the consoling doctrine of the soul's survival after death and of the communication between the inhabitants of earth and those of the spirit world is flourishing within the characteristic of a new revelation, so that in their daily activities people may be true examples of the good born of a living faith. So with this beautiful text and reflections that Emmanuel provides us regarding acting accordingly with the divine laws, let's start our meeting today with our initial prayer. So let's raise our thoughts and hearts to our Divine Master, Jesus, asking Him His infinite mercy and love, asking Him to inspire us in this morning, to reflect upon His teachings and upon the divine laws, helping us to understand the challenges that keep us away to act accordingly with His teachings, helping us and strengthen our will to be Let's say thank you for God in His infinite mercy to provide us with this opportunity, and all the spirituality that help us inspiring thoughts, reflections, and emotions, so we can understand these reflections today. And we may leave our spirit center today a little bit better than when we here entered. So be it. Hello everyone. Hello. Welcome. It's good to see you here, guys. Good to see everyone. Okay. So let's talk about the challenges of being a Christian with Christ. So it's Christmas, almost. So we are 1 week, I check. We are just 1 week from Christmas. So I thought it was important to talk about this topic, to think how our hearts, how we have been doing as Christians through all these years. How can we improve ourselves with our acts and thoughts and feelings? So today that's the challenge for me, to try to provide some reflections, and will be very few reflections that I was able to do, but with the help of the Spiritism, that we can find all these teachings in those books, and the help with the Spirit here, maybe I can bring some reflection, shed some lights on this topic. So Jesus, we all know that he is very important, right? He was the one that was able to divide the history on earth before and after him. So how can we understand Christ? How can we be able to understand him in order to be a true follower of him? That's the big question, because we all celebrate Christmas, but most of the time we are not recalling the main reason that we are celebrating Christmas. Or when we celebrate Christmas recalling about Jesus, we think about him as a saint, very far from us, or somebody that had lived 2,000 years ago and has nothing to do with us. Besides, his teachings is still actuals. We can still apply his teachings towards our lives. And to help us with this, we are going to see 3 main points. What are the challenges, how we can overcome them, and what the resources that we have in order to overcome those challenges. So let's start with the sources that we had researched in order to bring this all information here. I just need to do something here in my slides that I cannot see my notes, and I need my notes. Okay. So this is the time that I miss so much Victor and Luis. Okay, I guess I still can see my notes. That's amazing. Okay, sounds good. All right, so we had some inspirations from those 2 speakers from Brazil, Arthur Valadares and Saulo César, or Saulo César. Arthur Valadares talks about Jesus the Spirit, and Saulo César about living in the world as immortal spirits. Those very 2 important topics that brings us this remembrance or this reminder that we are spirits, right? And I got some information from this book Comforter, written by Francisco Cândido Xavier by Emmanuel, and the Gospel of Jesus from the books of John, Matthew, and Luke. So let's start from the beginning. We have I forgot to bring, but it's a very short book that was written by Kardec. It's part of the books, the collection. It's What is Spiritism, which is a summarized of all the teachings that Kardec brought in all these 5 books. Sometimes when a person doesn't want to go through all the books, they can read this What is Spiritism and have a very good idea what is the Spiritism. And we are going to start from there by the item number 7, where Kardec will say that spirits are not, as often imagined, separate beings within creation. They are souls of those who used to live on earth, or in other words, stripped of their corporeal envelope. Whoever believes in the existence of the soul after the death of the body must therefore also believe in the existence of spirits. To deny spirits is to deny the soul. So this is important for us to look ourselves as spirits incarnated. And this doctrine was brought to us by spirits that have lived among us, had experienced what we are experiencing today. And through the revelation or through the mediumship, they were able to bring those knowledge to us. For what? To help us to navigate on our challenges, to overcome our challenges. So this is one of the sources, but we're going to talk about this later on a little bit more today. I also would like to start with the book of John, on the chapter 1. John is the apostle that talks more about Jesus than the other ones. John and Matthew. Matthew talks more about Jesus as the personality, where he was born and his family, all these things. John talks about Jesus in a superior way, like a spirit. And it's amazing all the information that John brought to us in his gospel. And I would like to start with this statement. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. What we can understand about this? Do you have an idea? Oops, sorry guys. Yeah, it's not working. It's not working. All right. Yeah, it's totally, I don't know, maybe it's in another, oh, I guess I found. Yeah, there we go. Maybe it's the way it needs to go. All right, so what we can understand of this statement of John. So here John is telling us that Jesus, he was pure spirit. He was what he was before the earth was even created. He was the one that received from God the mission to create our planet and to guide us as Emmanuel will say in the question 283 from the book Comforter, saying that God gave us to him to be our guardianship. So we are tutored by Jesus. Jesus is, the difference between us and Jesus is that Jesus is much, much older than us. The Apostle John the Baptist says that Jesus, before the earth was created, Jesus already was. And John already has this statement that also proves that Jesus was with God, and then he created everything, and then we were given to him. He didn't create us because only God is able to create. But Jesus and us as spirits are able to co-create with God. So Jesus co-created the planet with God and then gave to us what we were given to him. He is the good shepherd. He guides us. He is the way, the truth, and the life. The purest spirit that have ever stepped on the earth. And as we can see on the question 625, that I'm going to read here because I lost my notes. But that's fine. Kardec will say in this question, 625, which is in part 3 of the Spirit's book, Moral Laws, he would say to us that Jesus is the highest standard of moral perfection to which humankind on earth may aspire. God offers him as the most perfect model, and the doctrine he taught is the purest expression of God's law, because he was animated by the divine spirit and was the purest being that has ever walked on the earth. So here we understand the superiority of Jesus, the fact that his teachings are still actuals, are still or survived for all those 2022 years. It's not by chance, it's because it made sense by that time and still makes sense to our lives, still help us. We have almost 3 billion of Christians in the world. If each of those Christians act accordingly with Christ's teachings, how our world would be?
Very different.
Very different.
Very different. Yeah.
So, 3 billion. How can we be better? How can we, as Christians, can become a little bit better in order to help the world? In this, to understand this, we need to understand the Spirit's hierarchy, to understand why Jesus is the purest Spirit. And the reason that I'm bringing this topic to is because we are invited to get closer to Jesus. How we can get closer to him, how we can have him as our tutor, like closer, because the tutor, the teacher, is close to the student. They get closer to. Anna works with kids, so she knows how the teacher needs to be around kids and teaching them and looking at them like apprentices, right? So how we can feel like that, how we can feel as apprentices, and how we can get Jesus closer to us. So for that, we need to go back to the Spirit's book. Chapter 1, chapter 2, where we are going to see, let me just find here, guys, sorry. This happens with when we are improving, like improv. I am improving here. So
you're being guided.
Oh yes, for sure, because I'm not able to remember all my notes, and this is a good practice too. I can be detached of my notes. All right, so the spirit hierarchy. Have ever read about this? Did you read? It's amazing, right? It's so important for us to know. So I invite everyone to go to the Spirit's book, chapter 1, part 2, and see the spirit hierarchy. So, Kardec provides us kind of a classification and orders of all the spirits. Okay, so we are all students enrolled in this school called evolution, and each of us are enrolled in a determined degree or determined level, right? So what is our level comparing to Jesus? So we are going to see this here. It's not something, Kardec is very cautious to say, this is not something fixed, but it's something that it's kind of nuance, right? We cannot put ourselves like that, in that way, so we have nuance, because the knowledge doesn't go from point A to point B straight. It's like the sunset. If you see the sunset, you see the sun going down slowly. That's how we go. Everything in the nature is slow and steady. So we are invited to see ourselves in that the same situation, because we are part of the nature, and that prevents us to be very hard on ourselves and to understand that we need to know things gradually. Okay, so the hierarchy of Kardec proposed to us is 3 orders. The first order is the pure spirits that we're going to see at the end. The third order is the imperfect spirits, and the second order is the good spirits. On the third order, let's start with the third, imperfect spirits, which I belong to. Here says, I don't know you guys, I belong to.
No.
So
he's on the top of the third category, more to the bottom.
Yes. So this order has 6 other classifications, right? But the general characteristics says predominance of matter over spirit, propensity to wrongfulness, ignorance, pride, selfish, and all the bad passions that result from them. So we still have the matter has a big influence, or a huge influence on us, and we still we are propensed to do wrong because of the ignorance. We still don't know. We are apprentices, and because we still have lots of proud and selfish feelings that we are still recognizing ourselves and resignifying them. 2 virtues: humble and selfish is, help me guys.
Selflessness?
What?
Like the opposite of selfishness?
Yeah.
Selflessness.
All right. Selflessness.
Selflessness.
Okay, thank you. All right, so this is the third order, right? And the third order has 6 other classifications that goes from the pure spirits, the frivolous spirits, passing through neutral spirits, those that don't do good, but don't do bad too. Pseudo-learned spirits, those that think that they know everything, but they still learning. So all those classifications are very important for us to understand a little bit more. This is not our focus today, so I'm just giving a general idea. The second order is the good spirits. And the general characteristics of the second order is that the predominance of spirit over the matter. So this is the opposite. the predominance is the spirit over the matter, in the desire to do good. These spirits' qualities and ability to do good are in proportion to the degree of advancement they have reached. Sometimes they are more heart than knowledge. Or sometimes they know a lot, they have a lot of intellectual knowledge, but they don't have too much heart. But they don't do bad with the knowledge that they have. They do good things. So this second order has another 4 classifications that are very important to see, for us to study, because it's divided in benevolent spirits, the learned spirits, the wise spirits, and high order spirits. These high order spirits, we can imagine all those missionary spirits that were among us, like Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Buddha, some like Emmanuel, that brings us all those reflections that help us to understand a little bit better the gospel, and all other names that you remember that they are very good on earth. They did very good. They provide good things to the humanity, right? So every names that can come up into your mind, we can picture them under this level, this order. And finally, we have the pure spirits, where matter has no influence over the spirits, 0. They are characterized by the moral and intellectual superiority in relation to the spirits of others. So here this is the top of the pyramid. This is our goal. This is where Jesus is. Jesus is a pure spirit, an angelic spirit. But it's important for us not, when we say that Jesus is the pure spirit, don't mythify him. Don't think that he's a myth. He's something that it's impossible for us to reach, that he doesn't care about us because we are very down below, and he is very busy working with all the universe, and he doesn't have time for us as God. So sometimes we still think about this, like, God is so busy with so many problems in the world, why he would care about me? Well, God is inside of us and among us, as long as the same as Jesus and all the divine, the pure spirits. When Jesus says, I and the Father and I are one, meaning that he was in perfect connection with God. And if we make efforts to be in connection with Jesus, we are also in connection with God, because he and the Father are one. The same is we are invited to be in connection with God and Jesus. It's easier. It's easy. No, it's not easy, but it's possible.
It's simple.
Yeah.
Should be simple, but it's not easy for us, right?
Not yet. It's not easy, but we will get there, because when we get there, and this is going to take time. It's not something that's going to happen tomorrow. And this expression in English, baby steps, is very appropriated, because this is what we are invited to do, to use our will, to make a little bit of effort, to be a little bit more patient, to be a little bit more comprehensive. So every time that we make a little bit of effort, we are working towards our purification, or we are walking towards to be a good Christian. Perfect. So Sonia, now we know a little bit more about Jesus. and we know also about us. So how, what we are, where we are, like Victor showed us last Sunday when he talked to us about this map. We can see there, you are here, and there is your destiny. So we have this idea now. So, but how can we do this now? How we can acquire that? That's right. And how we can see ourselves as spirits? Why, if you are spirits, why we don't acquire those knowledge on the spirits world? Why do we need to be here? If you are spirits, why do we need to be in if the matter has so much influence over us? It's not easier if we could evolve without being the matter? It's not be easier for us?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely, but
This is kind of the training ground, right? So you gotta go through your training before you can, get the job, right? So,
that's right.
yeah.
Yes.
It could also be because we have a lot of things to adjust with all the family and friends and enemies from the past, and if you could remember some of the things we've done and what other people did to us as well, it would be harder. It would take longer to heal those issues. Right? So being in a physical body, you don't have the ability to remember. And you might have to deal with that person in your family or that friend or that boss, and then kind of take some steps towards the kind of reconciliating with them.
That's right. Yes, definitely. André Luiz will tell us that if we have anything in our conscious, stem in our conscious, like a debt that we have with the divine laws, we are not able to evolve. He tells us in this book, Action and Reaction, about these two individuals. They were in the highest hierarchy, almost there. He was just one step to there. But there was something that were preventing them to go to the purest spirit, to the next level. And they were, like, they couldn't understand why they could not go to that next level, where they were stagnated, stopped in that level. And then André Luiz will tell us that they asked for a meeting, right, with the highest spirit to ask those questions. So we have done so much, we have improved ourselves in so many ways. What is preventing us to keep going? And then they were told that in a very, very, very long time ago, they were soldiers in this castle, and both together, they were friends since then, forever, and they killed somebody. They threw somebody from the top of the castle. They pushed somebody, and that debt was not solved. So their conscience had that mark there, but they didn't recall it anymore because it was too long ago, too much long ago. Then they planned a new incarnation where they had to repair exactly what Danilo said, that mark, to repair that debt. With their own conscience, there's not God that was preventing them to keep going, or was their selves. Then they reincarnated, and they decided that they would be pilots because they want to pass through the same situation that they did with somebody. And they incarnated, they were pilots, and they had plane crash. So then they solved their conscious with that situation. Doesn't mean that we need to pass through the same situation, but that's what they planned. We have the free will to plan, to do our plans, and to set up how we are going to rescue that debt that we have with our own conscience, and that's how they decided. So that prevents us, and that's the big point, because reincarnation, it's the only tool that help us to overcome our challenges and to change our classification, our category. Question 673, Kardec will ask that, what does the mission of incarnated spirits entail? Or what is the mission of incarnated spirits? So we have three verbs here. Educating other incarnates, helping their advancement, and improving their institutions through direct material means. So the matter is very important. It's the only way that we can improve ourselves, because we are here to educating others, to helping others, and to improving our institutions, our society. So this, we can recall what Jesus says about love others, love our neighbors as ourselves. The only way that I can improve is helping you, because in that way I can help myself. But I can only help you if I have the source to help you, if I have the knowledge to help you. I cannot help anybody if I don't have the knowledge. How can I teach math if I don't know math? So then, missions vary in scope and importance, and the individual who works as a farmer accomplishes a mission just as a politician or a teacher does. Everything in nature is connected, and all spirits, while purifying themselves through incarnation, contribute to the accomplishment of God's plans. Each of you has a mission, because each of you can be useful in one way or another. So see the importance of the incarnation for us. We can work helping God's creation, helping each other, and at the same time we are helping us being useful. And what is being useful?
As this suggests, essentially anything that furthers God's plan. So it can be anything. It can be a nice gesture, a kind thought, a prayer. It can be something, what people might say much more grandiose in terms of creating something material on this earth that helps other people's lives, right? But
That's right.
Each of these things contribute in their own unique but extremely crucial and important ways. And that goes back to what you were saying before about this idea of, well, how can God care about me? This so itty bitty small, right? It's kind of the glory of God. It's that it's almost like our own bodies. Our own bodies are homes to billions, trillions of bacteria and cells that each on their own, are just an individual cell, but as part of the whole, they allow our entire body to function. They work in coordination to create this holistic whole that is us, that we inside of us have ourselves. But God, in terms of His greatness, He can apply this to all of existence, to the universe, right? And still permeate through everything, yet still have each one of those individual little itty bitty cells be crucial to the functioning of the whole. So it's actually a beautifully designed, I guess, a beautifully designed choreography that that only one such as God could have created, you know.
That's amazing, Attila, because this reminds me the question 540, where I love this question. Because it's a huge answer. It's a long, long answer. But I like the last part where the spirits will say, hence, everything is useful. Everything in nature is linked together, from the primitive atom to the archangel, who also began as only an atom, an admirable law of harmony, which our limited minds cannot yet grasp in its entirety. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That's exactly what you said. So all the cells, each cells of our body, it's important. So each of us are hugely important for the works of creation. Like if you see our universe, trillions, I don't know how many planets and galaxies. So we will be, as Jesus once, we are going to be a director of one of these galaxies. So we are Christ in progress. Angels in progress. We are able to get there. But to get there, it's a long way. It's a long way. And we can start today getting those information to work on our formation and then transform ourselves. And without information, we are still in ignorance. But when we get information, how to, like when we get the map, okay, I have the map, like here, I am here, so I have this city and this village, this other city, and go on so forth, so I have that information. Then when I get this information, I work towards that information. I reflect with myself, how can I apply those information to my life? So the gospel is the information. The Spiritism clarifies and develop the gospel. So we have two great sources that give us all the information that we require in order to success in our evolution process. So we get this information, we work towards our formation, and we are going to be transformed. This is simple as it is. Like Anna said, it's simple. However, it's not simplistic.
No.
Well said.
We need to think about it. We need to work towards our, because the only thing that transforms us is our reflections. If that information makes sense to me and I transform my heart, I feel touched in my heart, so this is going to transform me. If that information doesn't touch my heart and I cannot apply to my life, so it's hard. It's very hard. So many people complain that they don't understand the gospel because Jesus, he talked to us, he taught us by symbols and analogies that the Spiritism explains, that the Spiritism developed. Hi Sonia, nice, cool. How about those people that don't know Spiritism? How they are going to understand what Jesus says? Well, we have here by our side a church that is full of people and they go by the gospel. Why is that? Because every and each of us have inside of us the divine laws, the seeds of progress that are always inviting us to comply with the divine laws. And what are the divine laws if it's not only do good, be useful, right? So when we have that knowledge, doesn't matter if we have the Spiritism. If we have the Spiritism, even better, because these are going to clarify even more our ways to God. And this is help us to have a great understanding of life and help us to understand what is the reason that we are here. And we can use that reason. If that fulfill our hearts, we can help others in their struggles in life as the same way. And then we're going to play our part, because we are educating ourselves and educating others, contributing with God's creation. This talk that Saulo Cesar brought to us about living the world as immortal spirits really touched my heart, because he helped us with the how. Because sometimes we have why, we know with the reason, we have the information, but we don't know how. And the how is very important, because otherwise what are we going to do? If you have all the ingredients to make a cake, but we don't know how to make the cake, you're not going to make the cake. So the how is important, and he is bringing us the how. In this, what Jesus says, be perfect, therefore as your heavenly Father is perfect, is very important, because he starts with his talking with this sentence, because Jesus here was not saying to us that we should be perfect as God, because God is infinite in all his perfections. But we can have Jesus as the purest spirit, as the perfect model to go to God. And actually, we also can see that God plays his part. He does everything in perfection. So how can we apply that knowledge to my life? By doing as much perfect as I can. How can I be perfect as God? Or how can I try to do things as much better as I can? So that's the how that we're going to see in this talk that Saulo Cesar brought to us. He said that there are two ways that we do wrong. One is neglecting, and the other one is attaching. This prevents us to live as immortal spirit in the world, in a material world. He says that neglection, we can neglect material things that are very important for us to live and to survive here. As immortal spirit doesn't mean that we need to get rid of all my material things. I'm going to give everything that to others, and I'm going to live just like praying and through the sunlight. The sunlight will feed my body. No, we live in a material body. We need the material things. The only thing that it's important for us to know is what is the limit, what is essential, and what is accumulation. And that's a challenge. That's the balance that we are invited to find. Relationships. We, like Danilo said, we are born in this family. We have our spouses, we have our kids. Why? Because it's not by chance. We have somehow some adjustment to make under this family. So we should not neglect, okay, they don't think the same way that I think, they don't like Spiritism, so I don't care about them. I will follow them. Because Jesus said to me that I should follow him and then forget about the others. No, we are invited to act where we are, applying the knowledge that we are getting here to our family, embrace them, and helping them, helping ourselves. Experiences. He brings us that experience. Sometimes we neglect what we have have in the past, what we have from knowledge of our experiences, and this is very important. We neglect what we have accomplished already, and this is very important because all the experiences, bad or good, that I had in my life is part of me, make me unique. And experiences that I have been invited to accomplish, it's very important too. Like this experience that I have here now, that my computer is not working. Okay. It's an invitation for me to work more with the knowledge that I have acquired during the study of the presentation and rely on my notes.
And you're doing great.
Thank you.
Very well.
The other one is experiences that when we are invited to work in a church or here in the Spirit Center, and we say, oh, no, I don't have the knowledge. No, I can't be there. I can't be talking. Not a chance. I don't have all the knowledge. This is a pseudo humility, because we all are capable. And I can tell that by experience, because at the first beginning I didn't think that I would be able to make, and here I am, with the help of all the spirituality that they are very mercy with me, thank God. But I am here trying to do my best. The achievements, sometimes we neglect the profession that we have, the titles that we have. All this is part of our personality and help us to strive with all the struggles in our lives here in this incarnation. It's important for us to do good, to be useful to the society. So all of these are blessings that God provides us as opportunities for us to grow. And then he says about attachments to material things.
So usually says there's a few comments here.
Oh, sure, yes.
So,
Sorry.
So it's from John Philippe.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "My family, I'm sorry for not being physically present. I like to say that being a Christian in the light of Spiritism is a huge challenge. Spiritism makes us taking steps conscious of the certainty that we need to adjust our imperfections in the most rational way possible is what makes us different. We have a significant mission." And then a little bit later he wrote, "Let's make sure the formation steps depends a lot on us. We must step out of our fears to let ourselves be formed by the true teachings of Christ."
That's for sure. Thanks so much, John Philippe. And this is so important because the formation is the longest step. To get the information, guys, if we decided we can sit in 1 week, we can read all the books. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 1 month. How long did you take?
A few months. But you can do it. You can do it relatively quickly. Yeah?
Yes, we have all the information, right? But what am I going to do with this information? And that's the point. And that's the challenge that John Philippe is saying. Because the formation is the longest process. But it's a practice every day. Sometimes we are going to do good, sometimes we're not going to do so good. But be patient with ourselves. Embrace our will and our apprentice process. And keep going. Thank God we have the doctrine of the spirits that helps us so much, clarifying and motivating us. And then the attachments, and that's the reason we important for us not to be too attached to material things, because we are going to live here. We're going to come back to where we belong. We're not going to be here forever. So material things are going to stay. And part of this reminder, we can recall Jesus' words when he says this parable about this man that was accumulating harvest in his barns, and he was thinking, okay, tomorrow I'm going to have a big harvest, and I'm going to put all my barns, and then I'm going to cross my arms and enjoy my life. And then Jesus says, crazy, tomorrow I will ask for your soul, and all the things that you have accumulated will be. So sometimes we just think about material things, and that's not the main point of our incarnation. as we saw in the question 653. Attachment to relationship. We are so attached to the person that, I'm not going to live without you. This is important to know that the ones that love set the other free. Because when we love somebody, we want that person to be happy with us or without us. Experiences. We are attached to experiences that we had in life, and most of the time, bad ones. So we have this guilty feeling. What I have done, what I have not should done, and this keep us stagnated on the same level. Don't help us to improve, learn from it. Attachment to achievements. I am so-and-so person. I am very important. Most of the time, and this is very common when we ask somebody, hi, how are you doing? Please describe yourself. Oh, okay, I am engineer. I have 2 kids. I live in this town, and I am Brazilian, or I am Canadian. This is all part of our personality, important for us to improve, but it doesn't define us. We are immortal spirits. Above all, we are spirits in a process of evolution. And to finalize, a reminder from Jesus Christ that whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me. Like what John Philip said, it's a big challenge to be a Christian, to be a true Christian with Christ. And Jesus says, and Jesus knows that. And he asks us to deny himself, not to deny who we are, but to deny our egos, not our egocentric. Yes, to deny that the negative feelings, they are part of us, but they are temporary. Because what we were going to be is the pure spirits. The impurity that Kardec says, the ignorance, we are going to overcome them, because this is the determination of the law. And take our cross, which is take our challenges of our daily days and follow Jesus. It's not easy, but it's possible. And as resource, we have the gospel, we have the doctrine of the spirits, we have the prayers, we have meditation, and we have, above all, the divine laws inside of us, inviting us constantly to comply with them by developing the virtues. Sorry for the delay. Hopefully I was able to convey the message that I was planning to do. And thank you very much for your patience and for being here in this cold morning. Any comments or questions?
There is one more that I'm going to read, but I find when they say, like, even reading this statement, take up the cross daily and follow me. Yes, it's not easy. But when something changes within us, knowing that it's so consoling, that makes things easier, even the hardships we go through. Of course, we have those first moments like, kind of panic, but then realize, okay, this is just part of our existence. So I honestly don't know a person who's an atheist who doesn't believe in anything. It doesn't have to be a religious person, but as long as they don't believe in anything, I don't know how that is for a person like that. I mean, my husband is an atheist, he thinks that dies, everything is done, and he's not and I'm like, I don't know, for me, it never made sense. Since I was a child, I didn't always believe in everything. But the spiritualism for me was what makes more sense. But at the same time, like, I've been a religious person all my life, but there was a time in my life, and I don't exactly know, something changes, and then these comforting messages and knowledge, it really lightens the burden, the everyday burden. So that's one thing, right? I know I can talk a lot, I don't want to go on. And John Philip has another message here. It says, the path to perfection is like polishing a rough diamond. We are all rough diamonds ready to be polished. All this learning experience is worth it, and we can be sure that Christ will support us. And he also says, love you guys.
Oh, I love you too. Thank you thank you a lot for this reminder that we are these diamonds. We have a diamond inside of us, just waiting to be polished. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so if there's no more questions or comments,
Nothing on Facebook.
let's go to our final prayer then. Thank you so much, Master Jesus, for being with us today, for providing your inspirations, for providing us with your support. It never goes away. You are never away from us, Master. We, most of the time, keeps you away from us. But thank you for not giving up on us. Thank you for your support through all this 2022 year, for all the challenges that we had, helping us to understand and helping us with your light yoke, which is the love that you represent, the love that you have for us. Thank you, all the spirituality friends that are with us all the time, helping us to convey Jesus' message and to keep these messages in our hearts. Thank you for your compassion and your love towards us. May God bless our Sunday, give us a blessed Sunday full of peace, harmony, and love. Thank you, friends, once again for being here. And the peace of Jesus be with all of you. So be it. Another reminder, very quickly, we are not going to have any public meeting from now on until January. So we'll be back on the January 8th. So we'll be here again. And we wish you all a wonderful Christmas, full of happiness, full of peace and love and harmony, and a new year with lots of love and peace as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mary says, thank you all for this beautiful word.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much for all of you that are watching here online.
So do we end the stream?
Mm-hmm. Yes, please.
Said something about choosing to save or something, I guess. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Discarded spirits, we all kind of participate in our own way. The truth kind of, there's have you ever heard of Carl Jung? Have you ever heard that name, Carl Jung?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Carl Jung got a quote that he's famous for saying is, people don't have ideas, ideas have people. And I always actually seek and learn more about Spiritism, become a Spiritist myself, is that the truth is there. It's always there. We just have to open ourselves up to receiving it, and then the truth becomes a part of ourselves, our experience that we can share with others. But it will remain there all the same. And the collection of spirits, all of us, from our own perspectives, from like a prism, like different wavelengths of light. We all look at it with a slightly own pigmentation, but by combining it all together, we see full aspect of the rainbow, and then we can describe it to each other, and then we all understand it. And so I find that just a beautiful. That's why I said it's like ideas have people. Ideas come, like ideas have certain people that embody it, and then by sharing all of those ideas, it's just getting us closer, hopefully closer to God's truth, which is what He wants us to God. Anyways, I just find it beautiful.
Wow!
That's amazing. Oh, sorry. That was low.
It's lovely.
It's I have been studying Freud. Actually, some of his teachings, because he had this humanist vision and perspective of psychology. And I'm taking this course in psychology, and kind of know some of his quotes, but this one I didn't know yet. And this is amazing because there's like antennas. If we synchronize our antennas with those ideas, it depends on us always. And it's beautiful the way that you put all together.
Oh.
Your reflections are clear and wow, it's amazing. Thanks so much for sharing this with me.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. And anything, honestly, anything I share, I feel that I humbly accept the messages that I receive from the spirits surrounding me and messages that I have the ability to glean from you. It's all I feel, like I said, a literal, constant, reciprocal feedback cycle that kind of just like comes to me, and then I send it back out there, and it really is to me a great grateful blessing to get to participate with all of you in this beautiful, intricate universe that exists, that we get to have this particular experience in. And so I feel like that's literally how it's meant to be, and so the pleasure is all mine. Honestly, the pleasure is all mine, and it's just so that's why I will brave the cold. I will come. I genuinely mean this. I feel my week now is missing something if I miss these. Like there's some gap there. Oh, that's okay. I got Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Absolutely.
I green pants, well, and the socks have all the colors.
Great.
You got it all.
Prepared. Thank you so much for
You're gonna look great. Yeah, no.
No, it's great to see you all.
It's very nice to see you.
No, it's nice to see you.
Good to see you. I'm more of a hunter, to be honest. So it's good. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Feliz Natal, Feliz Ano Novo. Nos vemos em breve. Olha ali que o paciente ali tá.
Mas que bom. Já foi
Mas
muito bom que ele veio.
perseverou ele.
Lonely family.
Yes.
That's right. And like I said, it's a grateful one. Definitely a grateful one. So, yourself, are you planning anything else for the rest of the day? Or? So you're essentially celebrating Christmas Day. spend some holidays. Well, that's good. That's good. So,
we're in the country, so lots of snow and outside the city.
oh, okay. You're not like in an acre? Yeah, so you get a lot of snow. A lot of places for the kids to play.